Hi, welcome to Counterpunch with Trevor Loudon, the show that details and exposes the unfolding world communist revolution and pushes back. Please like the show, share the show, subscribe to Epoch TV. You will see information here you have never seen anywhere else. Also, go to trevorloudon.com where you can see my books and DVDs. If you're in a war, you need to know your enemy. Otherwise, you are wasting your time even fighting. Thank you. Right, Sunday, 19th of February, there was a big rally at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. Well, it wasn't so big. It wasn't as big as people expected. It was about 1,000 people. Tucker Carlson had promoted it. Many other people had promoted it. And the turnout was a little disappointing. But it highlighted a major problem that we have in this country. And that is the extensive influence that Russian propaganda has both on the extreme left, where you would expect it, and in the anti-war, libertarian, paleo-conservative right. Even the moderate conservatives are deeply, deeply influenced today by Russian propaganda, especially over the issue of the war in Ukraine. So, Rage Against the War Machine, it was called. It was sponsored by the Libertarian Party, who should have known better, the People's Party, which is a far-left radical party, and the Center for Political Innovation. Very important little group. We'll talk about them more a little later. Now, while the event wasn't explicitly pro-Russia, they wouldn't dare to do that. They're not going to have a pro-Putin rally in the Lincoln Memorial. It was all about ending US support for Ukraine. And we had the same messages we've been hearing for some time. Ukraine has nothing to do with America. Ukraine is a corrupt country. It's full of oligarchs and Nazis. It's backed by George Soros. It's full of corruption and sex trafficking. We heard all of these memes. And so the idea is America should withdraw all support. We've got to end this war. We've got to stop supporting Ukraine and call for a negotiated settlement. Like that is even possible. Would you have done a negotiated settlement with Adolf Hitler when he was advancing through France? Do you think that would have been possible? The only way there will be peace in Ukraine is if Putin's forces are defeated. And the quicker that happens, the better. The better it'll be for Ukraine, the better it'll be for Russia. I don't like to see all those Russian boys dying there. I'm sure their mothers don't either. And the better it'll be for all of us. Now, prominent speakers at Rage Against the War Machine included the comedian Jimmy Dore, former Congress members Ron Paul of Texas, Tulsi Gabbard of Hawaii, Dennis Kucinich of Ohio, and Cynthia McKinney of Georgia. They also had Daniel McAdams of the Ron Paul Institute, Max Blumenthal of Grey Zone, the author and activist Tara Reid, who once made sexual harassment allegations against Joe Biden, and the journalist Jackson Hinkle. They were some of the prominent speakers at the event. The uniting factor with almost all of these speakers, right and left, that they all have connections to the pro-Russian cause. This was not billed as a pro-Russian rally, but they were virtually all the speakers have a long history of promoting the Russian foreign policy line, in some instances extremely explicitly, very explicitly. Comedian Jimmy Dore is a regular guest on the Russian propaganda channel RT. Ron Paul is also a regular guest with RT. And this one disappoints me tremendously because Ron Paul was always a hero of mine back when he was battling the Fed, back when he was talking about the Constitution. He was a very lone voice in the Congress for the values that I believed in. But now he's basically part of the Russian propaganda machine. It's extremely sad to see. His isolationist views, I understand his outlook, America shouldn't get involved in foreign entanglements, that, we keep on getting involved in these endless wars. All of that's true. But there are some wars that need to be fought. World War II needed to be fought. The Revolutionary War needed to be fought. We're not in 1776 anymore. We're in the age of intercontinental ballistic missiles now. We're in the age of weaponized anthrax. We're in the age of weaponized viruses. There are no borders anymore when it comes to war. So Ron Paul is now working explicitly with actual communists sometimes. Now, Cynthia McKinney, who was a very far-left congresswoman from Georgia, is openly working with Russian groups. She has been involved with the anti-globalization movement of Russia. She's been to their conferences in Moscow. Now, that group is headed by Alexander Ionov, a giant of a man who backs every cause you can imagine, from Libya to Syria to Black Lives Matter. Anything anti-American, anything pro-Russian, he's behind it. And Cynthia McKinney is actively involved with this organization. Now, Dennis Kucinich, he was a congressman from Ohio for many years. Before that, he was the mayor of Cleveland, Ohio. And he has worked with the Communist Party in Cleveland, in Northeast Ohio, for decades. He is renowned for his work with the Communist Party. He is very, very close to a Communist Party member named Rick Nagin, who is the chairman of the Ohio Communist Party. Rick Nagin often stands as a Democrat. It's pretty common for communists to do that in America. And Dennis Kucinich endorses him. They've worked together for many years. Now, Dennis Kucinich is very, very strongly pro-Russia. He started the Russia caucus in the US Congress. This was a communist operation, this rage against the war machine. They had several supporting rallies around the country at the same time for people who couldn't get to Washington. In Corvallis, Oregon, their event was organized by Mike Bielsen of the Committees of Correspondence for Democracy and Socialism, a breakaway group from the Communist Party USA. In Minneapolis, there was organized by Mike Madden of Veterans for Peace and the Communist Party USA. In Hawaii, the rally there was organized by Steve Palmier. Now, he's a member of the Party of Communists USA, not the Communist Party USA, the Party of Communists USA, which is a Stalinist, pro-Russian breakaway from the Communist Party USA. The Communist Party USA is too wimpy for these people. These guys are hardcore. This was clearly a Russian propaganda event, but it was supported by libertarians, supported by moderate conservatives, supported by just pro-peace loving guys. But it was organized by the hard left. The goal was to draw the anti-war right into the orbit of the pro-Russia, anti-Ukraine war machine. This was really a rage for the war machine rally, the Russian war machine. But you had Tulsi Gabbard there, you had Dennis Kucinich, you had Ron Paul. You had Ron Paul basically fronting for Putin and communists. How the mighty have fallen. This is what we're seeing. We're seeing a big push now for Russian propaganda to move it into the right, to basically destroy American support and American unity for war and for supporting the Ukrainian war effort. Ukraine is the one country standing between us and World War III. Putin wants to take all of Europe, folks. And when Putin takes Ukraine, China attacks us, China attacks Pacific, Iran attacks the Middle East. It's all on. It's World War III. And the only thing stopping World War III is the fact that the Ukrainians put up unexpected resistance to Putin's invasion plans. And now we've got to contend with people on our side falling for Russian propaganda, parroting the Russian propaganda line, and falling behind people like Tulsi Gabbard and even Tucker Carlson and Steve Bannon, who have themselves fallen for this stuff. So I hope you have found this a little bit thought-provoking. I don't expect you to believe what I've said here without doing your research. Do your research. Check it out. Everything I say here will back up. So thank you for watching the show. Thank you for supporting Epoch TV. Please go to my website, trevorloudon.com, for Enemies Within the Church and my new book, Security Risk Senators. You'll find information there you'll never get anywhere else. And most of all, thank you for standing for America and standing for freedom. This is a time where we need great discernment, folks. The lies are everywhere. We need to understand the simplicity of what we're facing here. This is a war between freedom and communism. That's what it is. And don't let anybody confuse you otherwise. So see you again. Thanks for signing in. We'll catch you next episode. God bless America and God bless every one of you. Thank you.